maybe unanimously, not wanting to see this business there. What were their reasons? Now, I guess one of the problems was they could only voice their opposition on the rezoning, not specifically about what type of business. That almost seems kind of unfair because these people came out in droves to speak their mind.
And that's the point I was making, is that you can't unring a bell. If the process had been followed appropriately from the very beginning, we wouldn't have run into a situation as we did last night. But I got to give the folks at Hylon credit. They were very clever. Is that as one lady, in adhering to the rules, worked her way through her statement at the very end, said, "And we don't want a gun shop, gun shop, gun shop." And made sure that, and then before she could be called out of order, she sat down.
Yeah.
That's where I say the residents were ill-served.
Yeah.
Is that because it became an issue, then all of a sudden to find ourselves at a public meeting that they supposedly can't address their concerns on the issue, is that if the process had been followed appropriately from the very beginning, we would have never gotten to that point. Now, what I'm saying is extreme, but I do believe, and I've been saying this as I indicated for 2.5 years, that we need to just shut the process down and say, unless something is coming to us from the very outset, that we're not asking, well, is this an ice cream shop or is it a gun shop? We're asking, what are the range of possibilities that would occur here, and does any change of the zoning in that area fit with the master plan of what is good for the neighborhood? That should be the consideration, not once again whether it should be the Tom Roten shop or the Steve Williams shop.
Okay, now, and I understand that process, but let me just for a moment, and whether it was on record or maybe from what you heard from some concerned Hylon residents, what was the major problem here with the gun? I mean, it sounds like don't we need businesses in Huntington?
Well, of course we do. The principal concern that I was trying to be communicated, I did hear two things from customers, or from customers. My business mind is coming out from the constituents, the residents of the area. Many were saying that they didn't want to see a gun shop that was located near a school, right next to a hospital, right down the street from a church. There were some people that found that violated their sensibilities. There were others who were saying that if you take steps to allow a commercial development at this location, there are other vacant properties that could possibly be purchased and be petitioned for rezoning to commercial, and then you start reaching on westerly into the residential neighborhood. And their concerns were, this is a beautiful neighborhood that they have been so busy in working on their neighborhood association, restoring the luster of their community. Their sense is that it could encroach on the residential district, and then for that reason that they were opposed to it.
Okay, so, all right, people have concern. They have a right, if they want to be concerned, to express those concerns. I understand that.
But we have to attract business into the area, and frankly, that very reason is why I feel that we have to change the way that we approach zoning. For this reason, the discussion today, the discussion that has been over the last 2.5 years, is that what is actually happening at this specific piece of property, and the word then goes out beyond our city boundaries that citizens in Huntington are fighting the development of business and investment in the community. My thought is that if you look at the broader scope of what is possible in an area and look at the broad spectrum of what could be done, once that is done and a developer comes in and invests in the community, the discussion is not that the neighborhood is trying to fight something. The discussion then is, look at the investment that is occurring within Huntington. Mm-hmm. And I think it becomes a much more business-friendly environment, but it also forces the neighborhood to be looking at a broad scope of all the possibilities of what could occur in the neighborhood and whether that would positively affect the neighborhood or adversely affect the neighborhood.
All right, we're talking